guys, Ultimate Toy Collector here. Today we're going to take a look at the first three figures from the Valerian movie line by NECA. By the way, big shout out to NECA for these figures to review. So here we have Laureline, we have K-Tron, which is an awesome droid looking thing, and Valerian. So I'm going to be very honest with you. I don't know anything about this movie. I mean, for the most part, I heard it's kind of like a futuristic movie, and I even heard it being compared to like a Fifth Element type of sequel, which Fifth Element I thought was awesome, one of my favorite movies. But then I heard some bad reviews on this movie, so I really don't know about that. But nonetheless, the figures look pretty awesome, especially the suits here and the droid here. The droid is really like my favorite. I can't wait to open that and just take a look at it. So packaging here, window style packaging that we've seen with a lot of NECA's recent figures. You see everything that you're getting in the package. You see the figure, you can take a look at the sculpt, so you can kind of pick out like the paint apps if you know, one has like screwed up paint app. Then you can see the accessories. So most of them are pretty basic. It looks like these two come with the same accessories, and then he has a different accessory. It doesn't really look like there's any alternate heads or anything like that. Packaging, you have the character, picture of the character on the bottom left side of the package, actually bottom right side of the package. And let's see, turn it to the side, turn each one to the side, and it has the characters' names, and then the back of the box, each one has its own little blurb here. Take a look right here for Valerian. And take a look for K-Tron. I think these are pretty dope. And Laureline. All right, so those are our three figures. And let's open these up and take a look. All right, so let's take a look at our three figures here. First up, we'll take a look at Valerian. Now, the face sculpt is pretty much on point there. The shading on the face might be a little light. Might look like he needs a tan. I haven't seen the movie, so I can't say. The only thing that I've really seen this actor in is when he played Green Goblin in Spider-Man. If we look up here at the head, the hair, the shading is done perfectly. The paint app on that, and then as we get into the body, there's really not much negative I could say about the body. The armor is very clean. Paint apps are very clean on it, not blotchy at all. This is probably like one of the best armored figures that I've seen by NECA, next to like RoboCop or something. Now, he has two weapons. One of them would be his blaster, his sidearm here. It sits in the holster kind of weird, but obviously that's how the reference material is from the movie. And let's see how we... So it fits in the hand a little. Actually, there we go. All right, so he can hold it, but it definitely looks better sitting in the holster here on his hip. You just turn that, and it will stay there and not fall out. Now he has a second weapon. The second weapon is this knife here, which he is able to hold. All right. Now, my only thing with the knife, if you look on his side here, it looks like there is a holster for it, a little sheath. But then when you look at it, there's no point for you to slide it in. Right down in here. So I looked around on the body. I wasn't able to find anywhere else that I could stick this. So that's going to be a weapon that's off to the side. Now, again, I didn't see the movie, but the way the armor is set up, it's almost like you can have a helmet come on and close down over that, or like a full visor. That would have been cool to have with this, because you could have had so many options for like other type of characters. And put his gun off to the side too. So that being said, let's take a look at the articulation. So the head, and get a full turn. As far as looking up, very limited on the upward. Looking downward, he could look a little bit. All right. Arms, he has these big shoulder pads here, so that's kind of hindered a little. Can't get them up to the side. The most that you can get be about here. Now we can put them down to the side about here, and you can spin them up over his head. We have single jointed elbows in both arms, good range of motion. You can get a little swivel at the elbow. There's no bicep swivel in here. This is, it's armored up. And as far as the wrist, got a hinge and a pivot there. So you have good articulation. Under the breastplate of the armor here, almost like the Stormtroopers of Hasbro, the armor, the way the articulation is set up is in certain places where it doesn't make it look too odd with the articulation. So this kind of goes right into the breastplate. So you can turn them side to side. Actually, you can get a full spin. You can lean back, and you can lean forward a little. Now, there is no articulation in the waist because you have it in the breastplate. And as far as articulation in the leg, can get a full kick upwards. Now, what I am noticing also is right here in the crotch area, it's a softer rubber. So underneath is another point for the crotch area, and this kind of sits on top of it. And it cannot be separated, but if you press right here, you can feel the separation. So this is a softer plastic. Even in the butt, you can feel it. And if you bend back, you can see up underneath. Now, with the knees, I don't know if you noticed this, but it looks like when they were sculpting this, there was supposed to be a double jointed knee. All right. But looks like final product only has a single knee, and the single knee is on the lower half, right below the knee pad, which is a little odd. You'd think it'd be on the top portion to get a better range, but that's where the knee pad goes. All right. And as far as articulation in the foot, get a little bend upwards, a little bend downward, and side to side. Now again, right here on his calf, the armor around the calf, it is lifted a little by the ankle, so you can get a little extra play there. Overall, I do like the figure. Don't know much about the movie and as far as the character, but I love the armor here. All right, so I'm going to put his gun also back in its holster. And we'll place him over here. Our female, Laureline, they did a good job on the face sculpt on Laureline. The hair, good paint app on the hair. It's not really bleeding through the hair. So to me, that's a good job. Armor, very similar to the other armor I showed you, except for she's got some boobs. So she's got a little breastplate on the armor there. And her armor is slightly different. Now she does have the holster on the side. Take that off. And now I do have one complaint before we get into her. So when I was taking her knife out of the package, it snapped in half. So that's my one complaint for this figure right now. All right, now let's look at the armor here. Now, compared to him, you'll notice that she has a few more little belt thingies going on here. She even has this little pack in the back, similar to the stormtroopers. Keep referring to the stormtroopers with these. Now her harness here on her waist kind of sits hanging a little bit. We have this piece. Now again, she has the knife, but there's really no place for me to put it. So I'm not sure of the purpose, or if the sheath or the holder for the knife was kind of left out on this, or if I'm missing something. Could be I'm missing something. But the rest of the armor looks good, very smooth. I definitely like it when NECA did with these figures. All right, so let's look at the articulation. We'll start with the head. Side, side. Even though her hair is molded, it's a hard plastic. You can get a little bit of bend to get a little bit of articulation. To look up, she really has no articulation looking up, and she's able to look down a little bit. All right, so her arms, her shoulder pads are looser than the male counterpart's shoulder pads. So she can get her arms up just about here. There we go. That's her full range of motion with her arms. But she can put them straight up over her head. And actually spin them around. So the elbow, she has single hinged elbows. And the wrist, she has hinged wrist and a rotation there. Little pivot action. Now, on her gauntlets on her wrist, I like the attention to detail. Her articulation is literally right under the breastplate, side to side, and actually you can get a full spin out of her. She can get a little bend upwards and a little bend downwards. Nothing at the waist. At the crotch area, she can get a kick forward and kick backwards. Again, the same thing with the crotch. She, same thing with the crotch as the male counterpart. It's a softer plastic here with harder underneath. Get a full kick upwards, back, and a bend. Now, again, with the human figures, the articulation in the knee looks like it was cut back to 1 point of articulation there, and that joint is at the lower portion of the knee, right below the guard for the knee. All right, and ankle-wise, same as the male, a little up, down, and a little turn. Now, regardless of the one or two negatives, overall, these are pretty awesome figures. Like I said, I don't know much about the movie, but I do know that the toys are pretty cool. I just dropped her. Trying to put her gun in her holster. There we go. And last but not least, we have our K-Tron. Now he has this red indicator on his visor. I think it turns green and when he's going to destroy, it turns red. Now, let me take this gun. NECA did an awesome job with the gun. It's one thing that NECA does really well. Weapons. All right. And sci-fi also. NECA does a phenomenal job with sci-fi. All right, so here, character is very basic. It's a black armor type of character, and with just a little bit of detail and sculpting, but it makes it that much better. So the arms on this figure, actually, can't get them up to the side because of shoulder pads, but I can lift them straight up above my head. And there's a swivel right in the elbow area. And a single jointed elbow. Now we also have a hinged wrist with a pivot in there. All right. There is no, actually there is. There's a ab crunch, which is right under the breastplate there. Side to side and turn. Get a little movement upwards, a little movement downwards. The head is side to side, and you can actually spin it around and get a good range of motion. This is a softer plastic up here right around the head, so obviously you want to be careful with that. You don't want to rip it. Nothing in the midsection. And then we move down to the legs. The legs are softer plastic, especially right here above the hips and right in the groin area. Get a kick forward. Actually a pretty good range of motion on the kick. And you can see right here that the softer plastic piece hangs over the crotch and the butt. And with the knees, so with the knees, we do have double jointed knees. Both knees double jointed. And as far as the ankle, you can get up, down, and a good rotation on that. So he does have good articulation. Have him hold his gun there for you. And here he goes. All right, so with these figures, I like the K-Tron. I think NECA did a phenomenal job with the K-Tron figure, and even the human figures, they did a good job with them. The face sculpts and the likeness are pretty much on point, but the armors on their spacesuits, I guess you could say, are just phenomenal. Thing I was disappointed about was the accessories. Got the one broken knife here, and this one, just couldn't figure out where to put it. So, but besides that, like I said, definitely like the figures. These are the first 3 figures in the Valerian wave by NECA. And thank you for checking me out. Leave me a comment, like the video, subscribe. Let me know what you want to see in the future, and if you like these figures, and what you thought of the Valerian movie if you saw it. And don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, The Ultimate Toy Collector. Check out Cool Dad Pop Culture Reviews. It's my new blog. And also Toy News International, of course. So until next time, guys, happy hunting.